I think my faith in what we do has been restored this week, funnily enough, because I've had 3 cold calls that are like, I like your stuff. I follow your stuff. Here's the quirky opener, and you're like, okay, yeah, you've got the quirky opener down. I'm like, yeah, go on. You can have a bit of time from me. They give me the pitch. It's too complicated. I don't know what they do, and I go, honestly, I really appreciate. I probably wouldn't be interested in that. And they go, if we could make you 5% better, can we sit down tomorrow? All 3 of them have done that. I'm like, oh, you're like learning the like you said, you're learning like the clickbait bit. You're learning like the bit that is nothing. The opener is nothing. And you're just forgetting all the actual stuff that makes it work and is good. And because of that, I feel like, oh, actually, this isn't a dying art at all.
Yeah. So to come on to those experiences you've had this week then, probably good examples and what a lot of people are doing. Mm-hmm. Those people and anyone else listening, what do they need to be doing differently, in your opinion, to improve and make those calls better?
There's a few things. I mean, the first one, and this goes for every communication you have in your own life. Imagine someone's wearing a big sign that says, make me feel heard. That's the first thing. We know most sales calls go, question. You answer the question, they go, okay, great. Question. Okay, great. And if you ask questions too many times, you start to feel like it's an interrogation. So that is the first thing. Like, really think about the way you come across. We had a guy called Julian Treasure on the podcast, who's like an expert in speaking and listening and the way that we hear and speak. And he said, think about the listening that you're speaking into. You think, wow, that's a really good thing. To like, it's more important how it's being received than what you're saying. And the other thing is, like, think about what you're actually there to do. So our simple model, like, there's a framework and all this sort of stuff. But what I'm actually trying to make someone do is, do they recognize they have a problem we solve? And is there a motivation to fix it? And the way that I do that is get them to think deeply. And if they think deeply, they'll attach an emotion. If they attach an emotion, they'll act. That's it. But what most people do, like, oh, you don't have a problem? Never mind, I just need the meeting. You've just got like a SDR target. You've just got like meetings in the diary that needs to be hit. You don't care about me. You're not making me feel heard. And that's the bit that's missing.
Good old commission breath potentially coming out as well.
Yeah, hook a brother up.
Hey, hook a brother up. I've got one more meeting to get today. Just say yes.
I ask people, like, do you get paid for this? And if you get me in the diary, you get paid for it. And they go, yeah. And I go, put me in the diary then. But I have no problem. I probably won't buy. But you can put me in the diary.
I want to send.
Like, yeah, I'm fine.
Because what happens now is, like, a year ago, 2-3 years ago, our diaries was just Jack and Zac have a little chat at lunchtime. That was it. There was nothing in the diary. It was just dialing all day, whatever. As time's gone by now, you look at our diaries and you go, when am I going to breathe? When am I going to walk the dogs? What's happening with that? And what happens if someone calls us and goes, books a meeting? I go, yeah, all right. And then I put it in that slot. But then on Friday morning, I see it and I go, I've got so much shit to do. That's the first thing to go. But actually, if it's something that I need to solve, I'm going to be there. And that's the same for all the prospects that you're booking meetings with.
Good way to look at it. Look at it from the other person's perspective that you're booking the meeting in for. You mentioned deep thought. How, and because of the emotion and the action that can be taken from it, how do you, or a salesperson listening to this, get someone into deep thought on a cold call when you've never spoken to them before?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, if you think about therapy, right? If someone's ever had therapy before, and we love this idea that a good sales call is like a therapy session. A therapist doesn't ask you the most complicated question. They don't talk about themselves. What do? They make it all about you, and they ask you very, very simple questions. So I'll give you an example. One of the things that most salespeople are trying to do is like, here's my 2 or 3 problems that we solve, right? That's cool. They're trying to do that. The first step when you've got someone to say that it's a problem, what the therapist would do is say, but how do you know that's a problem? And that's the question that we ask that starts to encourage that, let me think about it a bit deeper. So rather than me going, oh, how do you know that's a problem? I go, it's going to sound like a really silly question. That thing you said about not being able to recruit people at the minute, so how do you know that's a problem? Well, because it's slowing down growth. We can't really get where we need to be. Okay, I'm really going to sound like such an idiot here. Okay, and why do you need to grow? What's happening at the minute? Well, if we don't grow, then, and suddenly I'm getting not only deeper into the thought process, but there starts to be that emotion attached to it. Each layer I go deeper is more emotional, more painful. And that's how you do it. You ask the simple questions, and there's a very clear, we're going deeper here. We're not just moving across. We're not crab walking. We're going down with the pneumatic drill.
Great examples. Love it.
Thanks, man.
And the bit I like there as well, to get both your thoughts on this, is you teed one of the questions up with, not to sound like an idiot here, That might seem a little bit unusual for a salesperson to basically admit that you are an idiot to someone you'd never spoken to before. So talk us through, either of you, the kind of psychology behind that.
Everybody wants to be seen as an expert, but I think there's a quote that if ask a stupid question, you're an idiot for 5 minutes. Don't ask the stupid question, you're an idiot forever. Like, actually, we talk about these 4 different characters that you play throughout sales. So whenever you're on a discovery call, a cold call, or whatever it is, a client meeting, there are 4 different characters that you can bring to the table. And this is all about kind of, what hat do I need to wear today? Because you might need to have a tough conversation, or it might need to be softer and it's more therapeutic. And the best salespeople that I've seen are the ones that can wear all 4 hats at the same time. So the 4 hats that we talk about is the actor. Are you adaptable? Can you improvise? Can you think on the spot? When somebody says, I'm just carrying my daughter down the stairs, do you go, okay, great. Well, out of 3 problems, or do you think about it and build rapport, or whatever it is? I'm not saying build rapport about the weather, but like there's a game that you can play as the actor. Then you've got the lawyer, and this is one that we absolutely love, and it's like picking up on like little contradictions when someone says that's never a problem, but then they say later down the line, oh yeah, I've seen that since the business started. Okay, I'm probably gonna I have to ask maybe a bit of a challenging question in here. You said this earlier, and then you also said that. So what did you mean? So it's pointing out those different contradictions. Then you've got the therapist, like Zac. What do you mean? Tell me a bit more. How do you know that's a problem? I'm here. I'm a lazy river. I'm nudging you along by asking thought-provoking questions. And then the idiot. You've got to get that out. And the best way to do it is by framing it, softening it. If I just go, how do you know that's a problem? You're going to go, piss off. You've cold called me on a Tuesday afternoon. I'm having a brew. I don't care about you. But if you can kind of, it's probably using like accusation audit and bringing in different tactics to go, listen, I'm going to sound like a real moron here, and I hope you don't think I'm an idiot. But I guess, how do you know that's a problem? It sets the scene for you to ask silly questions. Otherwise, like you said, people want to be seen as an expert. If you ask a silly question, people might just go, well, that is a silly question. But the fact that you're aware of it, it kind of breaks the 4th wall, as they say in the industry.
You asked about the psychology before as well. So people that hear that will go, well, there's going to be 2 scenarios that happen. Someone's going to tell me off and then correct me, or someone's going to put their arm around me and think I'm an idiot and then tell me what's happening. Both are fine. It cannot go wrong. If someone thinks you're an idiot and starts going, well, let me explain it to you, they're feeding into it and they're getting emotional in doing it. If they put their arm around it and let me help you with this, they're getting emotional and they're telling you what's going on. It has no wrong answer.
Well, be more of an idiot, salespeople listening to this. It's not a bad thing.
Might not struggle.
A lot wouldn't. I wouldn't, that's for sure.